So today is our last story time reading about different people in different community helpers. We've talked about like doctors and nurses and police. What are some other ones? Like, have you guys ever seen an ambulance? You guys seen an ambulance?
I did.
What do you notice when you see the ambulances? They go to fires. Do they sometimes make noise?
Yeah.
What kind of noise do they make? Yeah. Woo, 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 kind of like that. And they have lights on them. Well, we're going to learn about ambulances and some of the people that work in the ambulances, that drive them and help people, okay? This book is called Ambulance in Action. Ambulance and its crew are in the ambulance station. Ambulance has a lot of special equipment. Meerkat, an ambulance driver, are checking it out. They get an emergency call. A car has crashed. Someone might be hurt. The controller tells them where the accident is. Meerkat and ambulance driver jump into ambulance and close the doors. Clunk. They put on their seatbelts. Ambulance driver quickly checks the radio for the location and sets the GPS. Vroom. He turns on the ignition keys. Ambulance's big engine roars into life. They're on their way. There's no time to lose. Ambulance speeds along the road. Do you guys ever notice ambulances driving pretty fast?
I did.
Yeah, and then whoever you're with, and then your car, you have to move over to the side so they can get through to get where they're going. Oh no, look at the traffic jam. Ambulance driver turns on the siren and the warning lights. The cars, buses, and trucks hear ambulance's siren. They see flashing lights. Quick, move out of the way. Woo, woo, woo. Ambulance is coming. Ambulance reaches the accident. The police are already there and stop the traffic. Meerkat grabs her first aid bag and leaps out of the ambulance. The car driver has hurt his leg. He thinks it's broken. Meerkat cannot get to him because the car door won't open. Ambulance driver radios the controller who tells him a fire truck is on the way. The fire truck's gonna come and help too. Ambulance driver gets the stretcher out of ambulance and lowers the ramp. He's getting everything ready while they wait for the fire truck. Meerkat stays with the other car driver. Woo! Here comes the fire truck. You guys seen fire trucks before too? With their sirens? Yep. The fire crew is coming. The fire crew uses a special cutting tool. Very carefully, they cut off the car door. Meerkat, an ambulance driver, lift the car driver onto the stretcher. Meerkat puts a dressing on the car driver's leg and straps it up. Ambulance's crew wheels the stretcher into the back of ambulance. Meerkat positions the stretcher in place. Whirr, clunk. Then she raises the ramp and closes the ambulance's door. There she is in the back. Any of you ever been inside an ambulance to see the inside? No? Meerkat tells him not to worry. He's going to be fine. Ambulance speeds off. Vroom, woo, woo, woo. Ambulance driver radios the hospital so the staff there can get ready for their arrival. Ambulance reaches the hospital very quickly. The hospital staff is waiting. The car driver thanks ambulance's crew. Well done, ambulance, says Meerkat. You deserve a rest. Then her radio goes beep, beep. Sorry, ambulance, it's another emergency. We must hurry. Let's look at the ambulance. Do you guys see the things that are all inside here? We've got the lights on top. I'm sure you guys have seen those. Inside there's a radio for the driver to talk to like the hospital or the control station. got a big engine, headlights. There's also the stretcher that patients or people who need help can lay on. First aid bag, yep, with all the tools, and a ramp. And here's some other emergency vehicles too. Like, what's this one?
Fire truck.
Fire truck.
Police car.
Police car. How about this one?
Helicopter.
Yeah, this is, it's called an air ambulance. It's like an ambulance that flies. And a police motorcycle. Okay. All right, well, we have another special guest today. Her name is Veronica. And sometimes she even works here. And I'm so excited for her to be here today. She is an EMT, and she is gonna read a story to you and show you guys some things all about what she does, okay?
My name is Veronica and I work on an ambulance. And today I'm gonna read you a story, and then we're gonna have some kind of fun little activity to do. And then I'm gonna show you some of the cool stuff that I use to help find out what's wrong with people and take care of them, okay? All right, so the book I'm gonna read is called A Drop of Blood by Paul Showers, and it's illustrated by Don Madden. It's about a boy and his dog who's called Rover. There is blood everywhere inside your body. When you cut yourself, you make a hole in your skin. Blood leaks out through the hole. If the cut is small, it soon stops bleeding. See the boy? He hurt his finger on the rose and now it's bleeding, but it'll be okay soon. So, oh, there's blood in your arms and your legs. There's blood in your fingers and toes. And once in a while, when a game gets too tough, you'll find that there's blood in your nose. Has anybody ever had a bloody nose? Me? Yeah? They're not very fun, are they? But they stop pretty soon. I think he's getting a bloody nose because the ball hit him on the head.
My sister Louisa has a bloody nose.
She does? Yeah, it happens. You don't have to cut yourself or bump yourself to find out where blood is. You can see where it is. You can look at your blood with a flashlight. Go into the bathroom tonight and shut the door. Turn on the flashlight in the dark. Hold your fingers over the light. What color are they? What color are the boys' fingers?
Red.
Red. They are red. So maybe tonight you can ask your mom or your dad or maybe your grandparents to go and help you look at your blood with a flashlight. Did you know you could look at your blood with a flashlight? You did? That's kind of weird and cool though, right? Look in the mirror in the dark. Hold the flashlight behind your ear. What color is your ear?
Red.
It's red. Shine the flashlight in your mouth. What color are your cheeks? What color? Red. The blood in your fingers and your ear and your cheeks makes them look red. Blood is red because it is full of tiny red cells. They float around in a watery fluid called plasma. The red cells are very tiny. There are hundreds and thousands and millions of them in a single drop of blood. Red cells are too small to see with your eye. You have to look at them under a microscope. So this is a microscope right here, and you can look at really tiny things, and it makes them look bigger. So you can see them, even if you can't just see them when you're just looking at it. If you put under a microscope, you can see them. Then the red cells look like this, round and flat, thin in the middle, thick around the edge, something like tiny donuts without any holes. So I actually brought today with me, it's really big because red blood cells are very, very tiny, but this is kind of what it looks like if you were to make it really big. You guys want to touch it? You kind of want to look, it's really thin in the middle and thick around the outside. You guys can pass it around and look at it. You want to look at it? Is that funny looking? Things like that are inside your body. And we have other things too. The blood is always moving inside your body. Your heart pumps it and keeps it moving. It moves through little tubes, your blood vessels. It moves out to the tips of your fingers. It moves up to your head and down to your toes. The red cells carry oxygen. Oxygen is part of the air you breathe. You cannot see oxygen, but you cannot live without it. Your body has to have oxygen every minute. You breathe oxygen into your lungs. The red cells in your blood take the oxygen from your lungs. Red cells carry oxygen to every part of your body. So that's the job of these red cells. They carry oxygen to your muscles, to your bones, your brain, your stomach and intestines, and your heart. Your body needs food as well as oxygen. When you eat, the food goes down into your stomach and your intestines. Their food is changed into a fluid. The fluid moves from your intestines into your blood. You cannot see the food anymore, even under a microscope, but it is in your blood. Your blood takes the food and oxygen to every part of your body. It takes food to your bones to make them grow, to your muscles to make them strong, to your fingers and toes, even to your brain. There are white cells in your blood too. They are bigger than red cells. Your blood has fewer white cells than red cells, but there are thousands of white cells in a single drop of blood. White cells protect you against disease germs. A white cell wraps itself around a germ and eats it up. Then the germ can't harm you. See, this is a picture. So this is a white blood cell, and this is a nasty germ. Germs make you sick. And it goes around, and then it eats it up, the germ, so the germ can't harm you anymore. All right? So, I also brought... Now, these aren't real germs, because real germs are nasty. But these are kind of pretend germs that we can play with. Because germs look like all sorts of weird stuff. And then I also brought, you guys can each have one if you want. You can pick one up.
Claire,
Yeah, you guys want to pick one? So there's enough.
how about this green one?
Yeah,
I'll take a little green one.
you take a little green one. You want to go get a germ?
Guys, Claire. Germ.
There we go.
Or Claire, or do you want a little one of these?
Yeah.
Oh, clam.
Yeah, do you want a germ? There. You can have a germ. There you go. And then I brought what looks like a big, fluffy white blood cell. So if you want, we can play a little game. And I'll pretend to be the white blood cell floating in the blood, and I'm gonna come and grab your germ so it can't hurt you. Is that gonna be fun? All right, here I'm gonna go float, and I'm gonna grab, I ate the germ. And then I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna eat the germ. And then it doesn't hurt you. And then I'm gonna go, eat the germ. And then I'm gonna go over here. Oh, you don't want your germ? No? Okay. Then I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna eat this germ. And then I'm gonna eat these germs. Oh. Okay. And then I'm gonna go over here. Do I want to take that germ? Yeah. And then I get it. And then I'm gonna eat this germ. And then I'm gonna go eat that germ. And I'm gonna go over here. And I'm gonna get, which one am I gonna get first? I'm gonna get this one. So white blood cells are really cool. All right, some things in your blood are smaller than the white cells. They're even smaller than the red cells. They have no color. They are flat and round, like little plates. They're called platelets. When you cut your skin, blood runs out. Platelets gather around the cut. They form a plug that helps stop bleeding. So here you can see the boy scraped his knee and it's bleeding. And this is kind of like a really close-up picture. So this is his skin, and this is the blood vessel. This is the blood flowing out, and all these little round platelets are going to help clot the blood. And I also brought This is kind of like a platelet. It's kind of clear, but you can see it's still there floating around in your blood. Is that fun? I think it's fun. So, next, the blood begins to clot. Tiny threads called fibrin form in the plasma. The fibrin threads make a net across the cut. Red cells and white cells are caught in the net. Soon the net becomes thick with red and white cells. A clot has formed. The blood cannot flow through the clot. The bleeding stops. The clot hardens and becomes a scab. Later, new skin will grow under the scab and close the cut. So that's cool. It's like a scab is like your body making its own little Band-Aid to help keep the blood in. That's why it's important to leave scabs there so they can help heal your body. Little people do not need much blood. Kathy is 1 year old. She weighs 24 pounds. She has about 1.5 pints of blood in her body. And a pint, I'm done. Oh, I already had it. So a pint is you fill this almost to the top. This is about 1 pint of blood. So a little 1-year-old baby has 1.5 of these in your body. That is less than 1 quart. Big people need more blood. Russell is 11 years old. He weighs 88 pounds. He has about 5.5 pints of blood in his body. So 5.5 of these. An adult who is 6 feet tall and weighs 180 pounds has about 11 pints of blood in his body. So that's 11 of these. Red cells do not last forever. They wear out. White cells and platelets wear out too. But your body makes new red and white cells and new platelets every day. When you cut yourself, you lose some blood. You lose red cells and white cells. You lose platelets. But that doesn't matter. Your body has plenty of new ones to take their place. It keeps making new ones all the time. See, the dog's really worried because the boy cut his finger. But the boy knows that it's okay because his body's making new ones. I think it's a good dog to worry about his boy. Do you think he's a good dog? Yeah? Okay. Sometimes I cut my finger. Sometimes I scrape my knee. Sometimes a drop or two of blood comes dripping out of me. That means I lose some platelets, some white cells and some red. I lose them by the millions in every drop I shed. But I don't get excited about my bleeding skin. For all the blood that oozes out, there's plenty more that's in. All right? Is that a fun book? Now, I'm going to show you some of the things that I use when I take care of people on the ambulance. Because this is kind of what an ambulance looks like. So we drive up here, but this big box back here is like a little room. And there's a stretcher in there, like Elizabeth talked about in her book. There's also lots of cupboards. And we have lots of stuff in our cupboards to help take care of people. So, this is one of the bags I have. You know that this bag has a funny name. Do you know what I call it? I call it what?
First aid kit.
Sometimes I actually call this one a jump bag. And it's called a jump bag because it's the first thing I grab when I jump out of the ambulance to go take care of someone. Is that a silly name? Okay, so inside here. So you know when we talked in the book how red blood cells carry oxygen all over your body? Well, I have a little tool that can measure how much oxygen the red blood cells are carrying. So I'm gonna have Elizabeth come up here and she's gonna be my pretend patient. And we're gonna see, oh, why don't you just leave that in there actually? So, if you wanna sit down. So this measures, inside here there's a little red light. You can see a little red light in there? And that is going to look through her fingernail into her blood and see how much oxygen her red blood cells are carrying. Just like that. Is that really cool? So we just gotta wait a second. So that says 94 or 95. So that means her blood cells are carrying almost all the oxygen that they can. So that's really cool. And then I know if they're kind of being lazy and they're not carrying as much as they should, then I know that I have to take care of that and I can fix that for her. All right. It also tells me how fast her heart is going. And then, let's see. We also, this is another tool. Have you guys ever seen one of these? Who can tell me what it's called? Yeah? Does anybody know?
Stethoscope.
It's called a stethoscope. It is. So this makes tiny, really quiet sounds loud for me to hear. So I can listen to her lungs if I want up here, and I can feel how she's breathing. Or I can listen to her heart, or something else I can do is I can actually listen and figure out how hard her heart is pushing blood. I can tell if it's pushing it really hard or if it's just kind of pushing it gently. So if I put this around her arm, it's called taking your blood pressure.
You guys ever had one of these? The doctor? Have you?
Yeah. So if I put this around her arm like this, and then I watch the numbers on here, and I will kind of pump this up, and I put this in my ear, and then I'll listen right here, and then I'll kind of hear a thump, 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 and that's her heart pumping. So then I look at the numbers on here when I listen, and I can figure out how hard her heart is pushing the blood. And then, one other thing. Do you guys have any questions about that? No? So remember in our book we talked about how when you eat food it goes into your blood and comes out just liquid? I can find out how much food is in someone's blood. I can, whether they have too much or too little or just enough. So what I do is I take this little funny looking thing. It has a little sharp piece of metal inside here, and I could poke her finger and one little tiny drop of blood would come out. And then I would put it on this machine and it would tell me how much food is in her blood. I'm not gonna poke her because I don't think she wants to be poked today. But I can find out how much food is in your blood. And so I have a whole bunch of tools like this in my ambulance that I can use to figure out what's going on with someone if they're sick or if they're hurt or don't feel too well. And I have bags that are twice this big in my ambulance. I have lots of them. Let's see. And then I also carry stuff in my pockets. I have lots of pockets on my pants. So here I have pens and I've got markers. I have so many places to put pens. I can even put pens in my shirt. I have pockets in my shirt to put pens. Is that ridiculous?
That's pretty cool.
Yes, and then I have pockets here. I have pockets inside my pockets. I open up and I have a little pocket inside my pocket and I keep my notebook in there. And I also have a flashlight in case it's dark out when I'm taking care of people. You can kind of see. You can kind of see that your blood fingers are red. Let's see, I have a little, this is a special little light that you can shine in people's eyes. Most lights you shouldn't shine in people's eyes. But this one, I can shine in people's eyes because when you're in a dark room, the little black part of your eye, the pupil, it gets really big to see the light. And when it's bright, it gets smaller. So I can shine this light in your eye, and if it becomes smaller, then I know your eyes are working great. And if it doesn't, then I know that maybe your brain has a little bruise in it that I should look at and take care of. So I carry that with me. And then this one, I have my phone in here. I have another little pocket inside my pocket that sometimes I put papers in. I have pockets back here. I have pockets. I have gloves because these help keep me safe so my hands don't get all yucky and dirty on gross stuff. And in this pocket, I have a bag. When you get sick, do you ever feel like you might throw up? Yeah? Well, sometimes when I take care of people, they want to throw up. So I keep a bag so they can throw up in the bag because otherwise sometimes they throw up on me and that's really gross. That's really gross. So I take one of these with me just in case. And then down here, this is my favorite pocket. In this pocket, I have snacks. Because sometimes I'm so busy taking care of people that I miss lunch or sometimes supper. So I have snacks with me so that after I'm done taking care of my patient, I can eat so I don't get grumpy. Do you guys get grumpy when you get hungry? I get really grumpy. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me come and talk to you. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, we have one quick story about a mouse named Maisie. And this is called Maisie's Ambulance. Today, Maisie and Charlie are driving their ambulance. What an important job. There's an emergency. Maisie turns on the siren and off they go. Nina, Nina. Can you guys say that?
Nina.
Nice. All the other cars make way for the ambulance. It was stuck in I can take it. They arrive at Eddie's house. Oh no, poor Eddie has hurt himself. Can you guys see from there what he hurt? Did he hurt his trunk? Yeah. Maisie asks what happened. Eddie says he was roller skating and fell over. His trunk is very sore. Maisie and Charlie open their first aid kits. Charlie puts an ice pack on Eddie's bruised trunk. Do you guys ever use an ice pack if you get an owie? Yeah? That helps a little, doesn't it? Yeah.
I had, me and Dad was an ice pack. Sometimes my mom would grab an ice pack.
Yeah, you need to put it on your owies, right?
Well, I grabbed an ice pack out of a fridge and put it on.
Yes. Did you hurt your chin? Yes, and you used an ice pack? Well, Charlie here got an ice pack, and look at what are they doing to his trunk? Are they bandaging it up?
No, they're toilet paper.
Toilet paper, maybe. Maisie wraps a bandage all the way around his trunk. Around and around and around it goes. How brave Eddie is. He is feeling much better now. Thank you for coming to the rescue in your ambulance, Maisie and Charlie. The end. All right, you guys, that is it for today. You want that for a minute? So next week we're gonna have a story time. We'll read stories all about bunnies. So hopefully you guys can make it to that. And I've got stuff set up downstairs for you to do. And I've got the toys that I'm gonna bring out. So thank you guys.